Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World for a special little video following on from the video we had the other day, talking about the managers or the shortlist for Cardiff City. But in the past 15 years or so, where I've been watching Cardiff City, obviously been supporting them a lot longer than that, but I'm referring to this last sort of 15 years or so. And we've watched a lot of ups, we've watched a lot of downs. It's never boring, that's for sure. But one thing that I have noticed in recent times, in particular, the last sort of 5-6 years, whatever it may be, Cardiff City are behind. We're behind the world of football in almost every metric, whether it be social media use and or the way we use it to promote ourselves and promote the club. Use the apps like YouTube, TikTok, etc. That's before you even get near the pitch. The lack of football structure at a mid-level, some would say big championship club, is absolutely astounding. I've said time and time again that as businessmen, the likes of Mehmet Dalman, Kenneth Cho, Steve Borley, and of course Vincent Han, all very, very successful men in various trades, various businesses, some of whom have been involved with football for a long time. But whatever their business outside the club, they would employ experts in their field to run each aspect of their said business. They would get the best available to them. In some cases, I'm sure the best in the world. Football is like no other business. There's no need there's a need for understanding and thinking beyond the usual, beyond the experience, beyond training and qualifications. You need lateral thinking, logical thinking, all beneficial, of course, but there's a need to think outside the box. But more importantly, there's a need to move with the times. And indeed the game of football is constantly evolving, whether it's tactically, the transfer market, agents, and the list is endless. It goes on and on. Whichever metric you look at, Cardiff seem to be a few years behind in the way they think about it. Now, obviously, we have the academy and everything in place now, but how do we move that on? We need this outside the box thinking. We need people who understand where football has moved to in the last 5 to 10 years. With Errol Bullitt leaving the club, it's of course important that Cardiff get the appointment right. They sit at the bottom of the championship with 1 goal and 1 point. And it's been painful, let's be honest. It's been painful to watch. But it's not a time to panic and revert back to old familiar faces that seem to be forever on the managerial merry-go-round, playing this awful long ball football. No one wants to see that. But equally, if you're going to play a possession type, pressing type, whatever it may be, you have to have a plan, you have to have a squad, and you have to have the tactical know-how to implement it appropriately. And what I felt is a big problem for Cardiff under Errol Bullitt is we're trying to do something with the possession-based football, but it's not. We're not implementing it in its full form. We're keeping the ball. We're going sideways. We're going backwards. We're trying to play through a press, which is creating risk, but we haven't got the pace or the creative players, and we're not giving the creative players the freedom to implement that system and that way of playing. Will that change under Omar Risa? Will that change under a new manager? You'd like to think so, because I think most people with any sort of semblance of football knowledge or understanding the tactics can see that there's definitely an issue there. But it is September. There's 30 plus games left. We've got a strong squad, which is jam-packed with young, talented footballers, some who are, just getting started, some who are already established, and of course, a whole host of tried and tested internationals from various countries and various levels. So with that being said, the right manager should not only be able to get this team playing, but maybe achieve something quite special this season. The structure and the groundwork is there. There's names that excite me, like Steven Schumacher. There's controversial names like Ryan Giggs, or the long-linked names like Nathan Jones. And then, of course, you have some old-school names, the cheaper options, the names which go round and round all these jobs all the time. But one name I believe that Cardiff City should be looking at in great detail is the progressive pick. Let's call him the progressive one for the sake of this video. And I talk about him potentially not just as a manager, maybe another role. But it's my opinion that for Cardiff City to start thinking outside the box and moving things forward, these are the types of men, players, coaches who they need to start looking at, who can bring the club on and prepare us to achieve the things that we all think that Cardiff City are capable of, and move us forward. He is one of the most highly rated coaches in the UK, if not Europe. Someone who is about as up to speed with the modern game as anyone could be. He's tactically astute. He's used to working with young players, plays an extremely exciting style of football, high pressing, quick passing, looking to win football matches by creating overloads all over the pitch. He talks a lot of the same principles, actually, that Craig Bellamy spoke to me about when he first came into the Wales job. Now, Brian Barry Murphy, he has little experience as a number one. He was with Rochdale following his retirement there, finished his career with Rochdale and then became their manager. And he did all right. He ended up with a win percentage in the early 30s, but it was the nature and the style of football that he implemented quite quickly that caught everybody's eye. He then was snapped up by Manchester City to lead their elite development squad, which is effectively their 21s. But it is my opinion that our club, Cardiff City, probably won't even speak to him, won't even consider him. But I believe he could be a very exciting option. Barry Murphy's playing style is characterised by an efficient attacking style, always progresses the game. He believes that coaches should focus on attacking in the most efficient manner without worrying about satisfying the audience. Barry Murphy's experience working with Pep at Man City has influenced his playing style, of course. He says that Guardiola makes sense of how to work repetitively every day, but also bring to life the things that you want to see on the day of the game. He was headhunted and picked specifically by Manchester City to manage their elite development squad. Obviously, one of the wealthiest, best run and gold standard football teams on the planet. He won the Premier League 3 years in a row, playing some outstanding football. He obviously learned under one of the greatest managers that has certainly in modern times, but probably ever been around. And obviously Pep's playing style gets mimicked everywhere, right down the leagues to grassroots levels. Everybody's trying to do this tiki-taka type stuff. He was recruited by, I'm going to butcher this name, but I apologize, Tixi Bergestein. Well, I know the guy, but I just can't pronounce his name. Apologies. But one of the most astute footballing minds on the planet. He ran La Masia and Barcelona's football operations through their absolute golden period, spearheaded Manchester City's rise through theirs. This guy has forgot more about football than anyone in the Bluebirds hierarchy has ever known. The youth development will be the key to us going forward. For the first time in a long time, we do have a substantial number of talented young players coming through who are ready to get involved and be around the first team. Brian Barry Murphy was considered for the Cardiff City job back in 2021. One of the things I've been very critical of the club is for how far behind the times we are, be it football structure, media, tactical analysis, or the actual team. It always feels like we're 5 years or more behind the current trends in the game. Football's changed this time. City need to get with the programme and change with it. Brian Barry Murphy's selection as a manager would, of course, be a risk. But if you ask any top-level football person, they will give you a ringing endorsement of this guy. One of the most highly rated coaches out there. He's an incredible record working with young players, tactical astute, plays attacking football, progressive thinker who will move the team, himself, and more importantly, the club forward. But not just as a potential manager. He'd also make, of course, a long-term managerial pick. But he could also very easily be exactly what we need as, for instance, a technical director, overseeing the football side of things from that technical side, from the academy to the first team. He's someone whose ideas could take the academy, which has already got the facilities and some great coaches, and move that academy on. He could take the recruitment to the required level with the right people around him, so we aren't wasting money, so we aren't signing players who then don't fit the system or signing players that just aren't up to it. This is all something that Cardiff City as a club should already have, of course. Another option, which potentially excites me. So obviously we talked a little bit there about him being maybe a technical director as well, or a manager. But another option that genuinely excites me, and I get really excited, and this is, it won't happen, but this is something which I would be interested in. Steven Schumacher as your manager, Brian Barry Murphy as your assistant manager, Stephen McPhail as your first team coach. Stephen McPhail is fast building a stellar reputation as a coach over in Ireland. He obviously knows the club. He's a fan favourite. He would have the respect of the players, and he knows what it takes to be a Cardiff City player. And he wouldn't let those levels drop, as well as being technically an excellent coach. All in all, Brian Barry Murphy is a pick that would excite the football nerds amongst us, and would certainly be an appointment with long-term thinking in mind. Do I believe Cardiff City will appoint him? I think it's unlikely, probably due to the lack of football voices in the decision-making process. But he is a name I believe that Cardiff City should be looking to get into the club in some form sooner rather than later. Some will agree, some won't. But for me, it's high time City get with the times and not only utilise the tools available to them, but also get the right tools to take them on to get where they really should be as a club. The capital of Wales, the infrastructure in the local area, the academy facilities, the stadium, it's all in place. It's high time that the Bluebirds make the right choices and catch up on the football front. The first step in that process is installing the right structure around the manager and the club. That means we are not signing players without the appropriate background knowledge. We aren't wasting money. Most of all, we aren't underachieving on the pitch or searching for a new manager every 18 months. Let's build for the future on and off the pitch by making the right choices. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please make sure you're subscribed. Check out the video we dropped the other day where we looked at Cardiff City's shortlist of managers to replace Errol Bullock, and I'm sure there'll be more names coming soon. But what do you think about Brian Barry Murphy? Do you think it would be too risky as a manager? Do you think getting him involved would be a forward step for the club? I'm genuinely interested in what you've got to say. There's a big chunk of us at least who really like enjoying talking the tactical side of things. And I'm quite happy to delve even deeper into Brian Barry Murphy. He's someone who really excites me. I think I'm going to have a look at Steven Schumacher next, because I believe that the club have spoken to him this week. So I'm interested to have a bit more of a deep dive into his tactical side of things and the way he likes to play. But yeah, nice one. See you soon in a bit.